Studies. I am so happy that you joined us this evening. We have some exciting things to share about things that are happening with this graduate program. And I am going to now hand over to Sandra Broomfield. She is the program coordinator for the Master of Science in National Security and Strategic Studies, and she'll take you on through the rest of this evening's presentation. Sandy, over to you.
Thank you very much, Camille. I would like to just say welcome all. I would like to extend a warm welcome to our National Security Masters Talk this evening. And special welcome to you, our invited guests, locally and internationally. Yes, I see some international persons logging on. You are why we are all gathered here this evening. I would also like to extend a welcome to our MSBM faculty and the admin staff who have joined us to help share the information and to just lend support. I hope this evening's session will be enlightening and I hope it will be fruitful. As Camille said, I am Sandra Broomfield and I am the coordinator for the National Security Program. Welcome one, welcome all. I would now take this opportunity to introduce you some of our faculty members that I am seeing online. And first off, I want to introduce Dr. Indiana Mintokoy. She is the Deputy Executive Director for MSBM. Dr. Mintokoy, you want to just say hello. You're going to meet her later because she's the one who's going to be giving the overview for the program. So you can just see her there smiling and giving a nice wave. I'm also seeing Dr. Charlotte Donalds. She is one of our unit heads for two programs, actually, for the CBMIS and the logistics. Dr. Charlotte, you just want to smile and give us a wave. Yes, thank you very much. I'm looking to see if I see any other faculty members online so I could introduce them to you. I'm going over to the other attendees list to see if I see any. Not seeing any just yet. But we also have with us our marketing manager, Janice Henlin. Janice, give us a smile and a wave. This is the MSBM family, you know, we're always smiling. And you have met Camille before. I'm seeing also Nordia Lawrence. Nordia is another program coordinator at MSBM. I'm not sure if Nordia wants to open up and give us a smile. Open her camera and give us a smile. We have Lorenzo as well as our IT team. Want to say a big thank you for being here. Thank you for coming here and with you here, I'm sure you're going to make this session much, much easier. Well, with that said, I'm going to turn over now to Dr. Mintokoy for her to just greet us and give the overview of the new and upgraded program.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Muirhead, Mrs. Broomfield. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to ask to allow me to share my slides. Thank you very much. And I want to, first of all, welcome you, give you a special welcome. I know our chair, Mrs. Broomfield, mentioned earlier that we have persons from all over. And so the welcome is even more special this evening. I'm inviting you all, put in the chat, in the Q&A section, or the chat preferably, a greeting, what country you're joining us from. I know then if you're joining us from outside of Jamaica, you may be on different time zones. So we are saying good evening. For some of you, it may be late evening or early morning. A special welcome to you. So it is indeed a pleasure to be hosting this session this afternoon. Some members of the team have already been introduced. And I want to assure you and to let you know that you are in a good place. You will have excellent interest and excellent taste by being here this afternoon. And I hope that by the time we're finished with our presentation, peradventure, you were still unsure about whether this was the program for you or not. I'm hoping that by the end of the session, you would have made up your minds, and it would be to say, yes, I'm going to be applying to this program. The Mona School of Business and Management is we're located in the Caribbean. And at the same time, anybody who's here, who's not from the Caribbean and who knows about Usain Bolt, we have a concept, a saying, we're little but we're Talawa. So we're small, but at the same time, our ambitions, our expectations, and our accomplishments go well above our size. So again, welcome. For my session, I want to go into detail in the program to give you a little flavor for what the program is about and what you can expect when you do join us in August, September of this year. So as mentioned by Mrs. Broomfield, I am the Deputy Executive Director for the Mona School of Business and Management. And I also then am in charge of the graduate programs. And I am also the academic director for this program that we're covering today, the National Security and Strategic Studies program. So before I go into the program, I want to spend a little more time, I spoke about Little But with Talawa. I want to spend a little more time introducing you to the Mona School of Business and Management. Our executive director, of course, Dr. David McBean, heads the school. The business school itself is an integral part of the University of the West Indies Mona campus's network. And so we offer a range of undergraduate and graduate programs, of course, and of course, the programs that we offer complement other work that we do in terms of consultancies, in terms of public policy research, and so on, that helps to shape policies and activities, not only in the private sphere, but also in the public sector across Jamaica and the Caribbean. Our graduates, they migrate, live and work all over the world. And so we understand the imperative that while we're training in Jamaica, we're training in the Caribbean, we are in fact training world-class professionals. The school itself, we pride ourselves on some of our accomplishments, including, of course, awards from our local Chamber of Commerce, from the Project Management Institute. We've gotten awards from them. And of course, many of our programs that we offer are rated exceptionally. They're well rated in global rankings, including Ed Universal ranking, and AMBA itself. It ranks our programs highly. We are also project partners to the Project Management Institute. So, if you're here studying with us, feel free to do any of our executive programs along the way. In terms of our core values, and I want to spend a little time on this to get you a little more into understanding who we are as a business school, who we are as an institution. So our core values are integrity, innovation, excellence, transparency, and civic responsibility. Or vision, which is important for any organization. You want to know what they stand for, what they mean, what they support. And our vision is to be an excellent, globally recognized business school rooted in the Caribbean. I spoke earlier about the fact that many of our graduates migrate. And again, this is reflected in our vision, which is that we understand we're in the Caribbean, but our perspective or lens or aim for quality is very much on a global scale. And our mission is to support the development of globally competitive and sustainable Caribbean enterprises by advancing learning, creating knowledge, fostering innovation, and developing research and data-driven solutions to develop business professionals. And I understand, of course, you may have questions as I go along. Please feel free. You don't have to wait until I'm finished with the presentation. Please, I'm inviting you to put your questions in the Q&A section, and my colleagues here will respond as I go through. So we are globally recognized. Here we have a sample of some of our designations or global ranking and accreditation that we're very much proud of. Being a part of the University of the West Indies Network, we also benefit from the accreditation received at that level, including the fact that we've been rated among the top 1% of universities in Latin America and the Caribbean, which is quite an accomplishment again. We offer a number of graduate programs I mentioned earlier. Of course, the feature, the highlight for this evening is the National Security and Strategic Studies program, but we also offer an MBA. We offer MSCs in accounting, enterprise risk management, marketing and data analytics, in computer-based management, information systems, corporate finance, and logistics and supply chain management. So a suite of programs are on offer. This is an image, a slide that we're very much proud of. So among the images here are some of the island's senior leaders at one point or the other in our security forces. And this is important because these were trained in our program. We've also had senior executives from other countries as well who have actually gone through our program or who are completing their studies in the National Security and Strategic Studies program. And so very much the program is meant to help persons to elevate to that next level in their careers. And so we want to introduce you to the new program. We've been around for a while. The program has been around for a while. It's gone through extensive review. And so we want to introduce you to our new program this evening, which is the revised MSc National Security and Strategic Studies program. And the highlight that we want to emphasize for this new program is the fact that we are now able to offer the program in a blended mode. In other words, we will be able to have an online and a face-to-face element of the program. So this is very much in response to feedback requests that we've gotten over the years. We understand that many who have been enrolled in the program, who have gone through the program, you're on active duty at times, you're fully involved at work, and so taking the time to attend classes can sometimes be difficult. And so we have, in listening to you, dared and responded by offering an online version of the program. We also understand that there are those who really do value the face-to-face interaction in the classrooms. And so we also have that as well. And so this new program has gone through a couple of years, in fact, of review. And so we've gone through benchmarking experiences. We've listened to our stakeholders, including our alumni or adjunct faculty or teaching faculty. We've listened to the employers. We've listened to regional and international experts in the area. So we've brought together a host of feedback in the review of this program. So the revised program, the National Security and Strategic Studies program, in terms of the broad objective of the program, its intention is to prepare students in strategic studies and national security for senior positions in the government and security forces in the Caribbean and beyond. The program will equip leaders in the security industry with advanced expertise and strategic insights to address evolving threats and safeguard our region and communities. Some of the more specific objectives of the program, it's really to introduce some of the agency roles and functions as it relates to security and strategic studies. to focus on the domestic, regional, and international settings of national security policy, to give insights into the concepts of military threats, the issues of crime and violence, terrorism, crisis management, military alliances, human rights and security concerns, national security policy and program, and cybersecurity. And of course, all these themes in today's world are extremely relevant, they're current, and even given their currency, if you look back in history, you see where some of these have always been relevant. New issues are coming to the fore, and so very much this program would help you to anticipate some of the new issues, to understand some of the current issues and challenges, as well as to equip you with the opportunity and the ability to address these challenges in your various places of work, of abode. Some of the specific courses that you will be taking when you join us in the program: New Dimensions of Power and Security in the Caribbean, Quantitative and Qualitative Research Methodology, Security and Defense Economics, the international relations and national security issues, management of strategic issues. Then, of course, there's academic writing for graduate studies and professional ethics and accountability. And these courses in particular, the quantitative and qualitative research methods, the academic writing for graduate studies and professional ethics and accountability. We got significant feedback in our consultations, and these were highlighted as courses, as skills, as competencies which national security and strategic studies students need to have. For example, you will be writing policies along the way. You will be writing documents, proposals in support of different policies, different issues. And so it's important for us in the program to equip you with those skills here. So when you go out into the field, when you go out into the world of work, or many of you are already there, you will already be equipped with the competence to shape, to direct, to make, and to influence policies. Other subjects include global issues impacting national security, deviance, social conflict, terrorism and counterterrorism, national security, citizen security, contemporary security studies and sustainability, cybersecurity and cybercrime, and intelligence-led policing and military intelligence strategies. An important element of the new program will be the capstone project. The previous program did have a capstone project, but this has now been reviewed. So we will have students working on real world challenges. Many of you, you're already in the field, you're already acquainted with some of the challenges that face you in the real world context. We appreciate that some of the students may not have some of that experience. So we will in fact allow students to work in groups, in teams, to address challenges that are posed to us by different organizations. And so you'll be able to apply, go through that practical experiential element in terms of the program and what you would have learned earlier. So in terms of the structure, I just mentioned a number of courses. So we aim to begin the program in September. Importantly, though, we recognize that in moving online, in allowing an online stream, we want to make sure that as you study online, that you get an excellent start, as best a start as we possibly can give you to do well in the program. That means that there will be a face-to-face element. So there will be 2 weeks that we will ask students to be face-to-face in Jamaica. And within those 2 weeks, our hope is then to allow everyone to meet each other. We know some of you will be online, some face-to-face, but at the same time, we want you to meet each other, to know each other, to network face-to-face with each other. Online is relevant, online is practical, online is needed, online is welcomed. But at the same time, there's nothing that you can give to cover over what you can gain for those 2 weeks. And so we have the 2 weeks at the start of the program. We'll have visits, different activities, networking activities, various social activities within those first 2 weeks for persons to get to know each other, get to know the school. Again, you will be studying at the Mona School of Business and Management, University of the West Indies in Kingston, Jamaica. So we want you to understand and to know more about the place that you're studying. So it's not just being online and being behind a screen. From the 2 weeks, face-to-face, you'll all, of course, be able to join online or face-to-face if you choose. And then you'll be taking 13 core courses, as well as a capstone project in the final semester of the program. Now, we will be able to offer, or we are offering 2 options for enrollment. That's part-time, and then there's full-time. And of course, for the part-time, it will be over a period of 12 months, 1 year. And for those who take the program on a part-time basis, it will be offered over a 24-month period. The 2 weeks that we want you to be together face-to-face, we're hoping that will begin at the end of August, with classes begin in September, the first week of September. I mentioned the 24 months duration for those who are studying part-time. This means that for 2 to 3 evenings for the week, you will have your classes 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Jamaica time. This will change after the first 2 semesters for those who are part-time, where we go to you having 2 or so courses per semester rather than 3 evenings per week. Of course, for those who are studying full-time, because it's going to be a shorter period, then you are going to be having classes 4 evenings per week, 5 to 9 p.m. And we've, again, structured the timing for the classes because we understand that there are many persons in Jamaica who will be working. And so we will afford you the ability to work and do your studies in the evening. For those who will be joining us further afield, it may be even more convenient depending on the time zone that you will be in. Entry requirements, importantly. We require degrees of a GPA of no lower than 2.5. And we also look at the work experience. So we like to know that you're making the right decision in terms of where you want to go, what you're studying. So we ask for 2 years work experience. And we may also have an interview, not always necessary. And if there's an interview that's required, it will be online, and we will be sure to let you know in advance. We do understand that not everyone will come into the program with a first degree. There are many of you, for instance, who would have gone directly out of high schools, even straight into the security forces. So we understand that not everyone would have done a first degree. So we do have an allowance, a provision for those who do not have a first degree. And so there's a mature student designation, which means that we will review your application. We look at your experience. So for instance, if you've completed substantial senior military and police courses at a recognized international or Caribbean institution, I know from time to time there are many training along the way, locally, globally, regionally, and so on. And so we look at all that. And so we encourage you, when you submit your application, if there is any training certificate that you would have gotten, any diplomas you would have gotten along the way, please do include those in your applications to us, and we will consider them. Importantly, we also ask for a recommendation from your organization, your place of employment, in support of that application. Again, there's the possibility of an interview, but the interviews, they come at points where we are really wanting to verify or to engage you a little further. It's important for us to do that and to have that as a right that we reserve, because we want to make sure that when you enter our program, you enter to be successful, you enter to complete. So it's very much in our favor to ensure that our students, when you do join us, that you do well. Again, I spoke about the accreditation earlier, and very much any student that fails is a negative mark against us. So we make sure that when we take students, when we take applicants into our programs, that you, as much as possible, through our support as well, will do well and excel. So I mentioned earlier the Project Management Institute and our partnership with them. And this is just one of the bodies that we have partnerships with at the Mona School of Business and Management. If you join us, for instance, there's our professional services unit, where you can actually take short diploma courses, certificate courses with us, even in project management. So as you get your degrees, you can also leave with additional certification. Beyond the services offered through the professional services unit, we also have our entrepreneurship program. So peradventure, you also have an idea of starting your own business. Then this is a place as well where you can get support, you can get training and encouragement towards your entrepreneurial journey. Who knows, even in the security field, right? Beyond that, we also offer opportunities for leadership development. So for instance, we are partners in the University of Buffalo Global Leadership Program, which actually engages students across 12 or at least 12 countries globally. And students work on global projects, real world impactful projects, which also equip you in terms of your ability to develop consultancy skills and leadership skills as well. So in other words, joining us at the Mona School of Business and Management, whether it's online or face-to-face, has a number of benefits, the degree included, among other things, including talent and leadership development, entrepreneurial development. And so it will be value for your money when you do join us. And in wrapping up, the application process is outlined here. I want to really encourage you, if you have not started the application, please do so. Please complete. You have queries, please reach out to us. Any concerns, please reach out to us. You can complete your applications online. And note, of course, the deadline for applications, it's the 31st of July, 2025. And understanding that many of you will need some time to plan, I'm encouraging you to submit those applications as early as possible so that you can get a decision. And if the decision is a positive one, then you can begin as soon as possible to plan. I know some of you may have families, so some of this will very much be a family decision, right? So I encourage you to get going on that. Please, you can apply online by visiting our website, MSBM website, and you can also upload any supporting documents that will be required. I'm going to encourage you here. I know this slide says the deadline is March 31st, but it has been extended to the 31st of July. And so I encourage you, you can scan here to submit any supporting documents you may have. Some of you may have already started the application. So we do, again, with that view that some of you may be international students, we have made the accommodation for you to have various modes of communicating with us and getting your applications in. And of course, I'm encouraging you to connect with us through our various social media platforms. and they're there on the screen. And so without further ado, I really do look forward to seeing you face to face come August, September. I know sometimes as we go through these processes, we see the names on paper, and then we get to connect the names with the faces when we do meet you. So please do consider us. Please do complete the application. And I can assure you, looking at our past students, this is a degree that's well worth it. And all the best to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mintakoye. Before I hand over to Sandra again to deal with the questions that have come so far, I noticed quite a number of representations in our chat. We have persons from Belize, right? We also have Barbados, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, right? So lots of representation there from the region. We also have definitely persons here in Jamaica from Kingston. We noticed someone from Negril. So quite a wide cross section of persons represented here this evening. I'm also going to encourage you. It's easier for us to track your questions when you put it in the Q&A. When you have it in the chat, and because everyone is typing, we might miss some, and we don't want to miss anything. We want to be able to ensure that everyone's questions get answered. So please utilize the Q&A feature as much as possible, and the chat can be used just for general engagement. So I'm going to now hand over to Sandra. She's been handling some of the questions so far, and we're just going to take the ones that haven't been dealt with. Go ahead, Sandra.
Thank you, Camille. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Mintakoye. Well, I'm not seeing much questions in the Q&A. I see a question asking about the cost for the program. It's US $9,000 for the duration. I'm seeing
Sandy, let me add to that, so that the cost is US $9,000. With that said, we also offer a number of options for payment. So you are able, for instance, to pay full $10,000 upfront. But we also understand that some persons may need to stagger the payment. So we do offer the opportunity to pay the tuition fee per semester. And so we encourage you, if you're interested in joining us in the program and you want to work out just how you can manage the payments, you can reach out to us as well. We also have arrangements for those who are local. We have arrangements with the Student Loan Bureau. We also have arrangements with JMMB, Jamaica Money Market Brokers, which is Jamaican, but it's regional as well. And so there are different options and opportunities for you to actually make the payments. Thanks, Andy.
Okay, thank you. One Tomoy is asking, will this new program affect students that are already studying, especially cybersecurity? You want to take that one, Indiana, or you want me to answer?
Ask again. I'm not sure I understand fully the question.
So the person is asking, will this new program affect students that are already studying, especially cybersecurity? So my interpretation, if we have current students, cybersecurity is not offered, but they would like to do cybersecurity. Can they go ahead and do cybersecurity? Like for the first year students, when this new rollout starts, they will become second year students. Understand?
Yes, I understand. So unfortunately, because your program has a specific suite of courses that you need to complete in order to matriculate for your degree, then you'd have to complete those courses. With that said, if, for instance, you want to complete your degree and you want to take on the cybersecurity course, for instance, then it's possible to enter that course as a specially admitted student, which would be separate and apart from your current degree with us. So it would be you registering as a specially admitted student and you do that one course only. Right, Sandy?
Yes, and the credit for that one course will not count towards your degree.
Thanks for that clarification too. Yes.
May I just add also, good evening, everyone, that in light of the conversation that the course, even though you're admitted as specially admitted, is not necessarily for free. But you would have to pay for that course. I just want to make sure that this, Timoy understands that you would have to pay for the course. All right.
That's an excellent addition. Thanks so much for that, Dr. Donald.
Yes, thank you, Dr. D. Okay, there's another one from Roberts B. Could you please advise about housing for students to include costs?
Thanks for that, and that's an excellent question. So we are currently in discussions with the our accommodations office on campus, and that is as we plan for instance, the 2 weeks at in end of August, September. And so that will also extend into discussions around those who are traveling from overseas or remote part of the island, and you want to actually do the program full time. And so Sandy, we can probably put the your email address in the chat. And then we encourage between our program coordinator and our team who work with student admissions to get the information to you. So that's an excellent question. Thanks for that. Sandy, I don't know if you're muted. So there's a question about the recording. Yes, the session is being recorded. And I suspect it will be shared. Marketing, Camille, the presentation will be shared with all those who actually registered
That's
for the
true.
session.
Right. The session will be shared via email. So they'll receive an email with the link on where to access the recording.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Sandra, you're muted. I hope you're not talking behind.
Okay, I was talking, but okay, so I'm unmuted now. I'm not seeing much more question. They're still asking, there's still a question on the payment plan. How do they go about accessing the payment plan?
Okay, I'm going to ask someone to put in the chat as well the link for our accounts team at the MSBM. So it's important. We are a part of the university network, but as a business school, we have our own internal accounting office led by Miss Merlin Reed. And so once you reach out to your intended program coordinator, that is Mrs. Broomfield, or to Miss Dawn Morgan, and they will also point you in the direction to go in terms of discussing the payment plan. So again, the payment plan will see you being able to pay per semester. And there are some particular dates that you will get, which instructs you what to pay at what point in time. Our accounts office is working on that, so we will get that information as well. And then there are institutions that we have partnerships with locally that you can also go through in accessing support, loans, for instance, to support your studies. I see a question, Mr. Michael Chisholm. What about, so Mr. Chisholm is asking, if you do years of service in an institution, in his case, 32 years in the JCF, congratulations, sir, and have a first degree with a 2.49, GPA and you're now retired, can you join the course? Yes, you can, Mr. Chisholm. You can definitely join the course. So with that 2.49, that is why we encourage persons, if you have additional training, certification along the way, include those in your application to us. And we do recognize the closeness between the 2.49 and the 2.5. So all these additional considerations will count in your favor. That is training, years of experience, all that will matter. So include as much information as possible in your application to us. Thanks.
Another question, is the full-time payments more or more than the part-time? So it's $9,000 for 9,000 US. Well, the question is, will the full-time students pay more?
So it would be the same. It's just the time frame will differ. So that $9,000 that we refer to is $9,000 for the entire program. So if you are doing part-time, then you pay that 9,000 over the 2-year period. If you're doing full-time, then you pay that 9,000 over the period of the year that you're studying with us. And I know the question, I don't know if it's the suggestion that it's so reasonably priced.
Okay. So would we graduate at the end or just receive a certificate?
You graduate at the end. So you get your degrees. And I mean, a certificate seems so slight, right? But it is a degree that you get at the end. You get your MSc degree, Master of Science in National Security and Strategic Studies. And you do attend a graduation. So we invite persons to come back for the graduation. And can you imagine meeting each other the first 2 weeks, going through the period of studying and engaging online, and then being able to come back, I dare say, with your family and friends at the end of the program for that final graduation, where you get to celebrate all that you've done over the 12 months or over the 24-month period. And we do beyond the graduation. I mean, the graduation is a major experience, but beyond the graduation, we also have our awards ceremony for our best or top performing students. So that's something to also look forward to.
Okay, thank you. Someone, I started the registration process online and was instructed that an email would be sent to me about a password. However, I have not received that mail.
So that one, I would encourage you, you know what, so reach back out to the graduate admissions office, but I would also encourage you, if possible, to put, I'm not sure marketing, if this is possible, that the person who's asking the question can send up notes. It can be done.
So repeat that last part, Dr. Mintakoy, because I did not hear you. I think you cut out.
Okay, I was wondering if it's possible for that person to send a private email to any one of us, and then we can check to see what's happening with that. Or you the person who's asking the question, you can reach out to Mrs. Broomfield or Mrs. Dawn Morgan. You can put the email addresses for persons to note who to reach out to, or graduate admissions office with that query. And we can check up on that for you as well.
Okay, I'll post in the chat the grad application email address.
Thank you, Camille. So please take note of that email address. You can email specific queries to regarding your application.
Okay, so one here from Anonymous. If you're a police officer applying for this degree, does your rank matter if you already have a first degree?
No, it doesn't matter. If you already have a first degree, and you have the 2.5 GPA, then that's fine. You can apply.
Okay. Pardo, what is the payment plan like per semester?
I'm gonna ask Miss Reed. Miss Reed, can you take this question?
Yes, please.
Thanks, Camille. Good evening, everyone. So if I understand the question, the person is asking, what is the semester fee?
Yes, what does the semester payment look like?
So if the person is a full-time, so that means it's just 3 semesters in the academic year. So that person will be paying 3,000 US per semester. If they're part-time, they would be paying 1,500 per semester. And if you're choosing the payment plan, you are required to pay your semester fee in 3 equal amounts, beginning the first month in the semester. That is, in September, you will pay one amount. In October, you pay the second amount, and in November, you pay the final amount. Meaning, by the time you get to the end of the semester where you will sit your examinations, you will be okay because you would have settled what the amount due for that semester. Of course, persons who may be using the student's loan bureau to access loan facility, they would pay per semester because we work out a program with them where they allow us to check in the background to know who have been approved, how much has been approved, and they will send over those monies on a semester by semester basis. If, however, you're using any other financial institution and you're applying for the loan upfront and they're giving you all the money upfront, we will accept and we apply it to your account, and as the charges are applied, that amount will be written off against. And persons who are paying for themselves, of course, you can pay at the beginning of a semester, the beginning of the year, or the beginning of the program. We try to ensure that we make facilities or facilitate the students as best as we can. I hope I answered the question.
Thank you very much, Ms. Reed. And Ms. Reed is our accounting director here at MSBM. So Tenil is asking, what are the admissions requirements?
Thanks for that, Sandra, and thanks, Danielle. So the admissions requirement, I can go over that a little. But essentially we ask for a first degree from an international institution or a local institution, such as University of the West Indies. And we ask for a GPA of 2.5 or above. We also have a special category for mature students who wish to enter the program. And in that case, we ask that you would have had experience in terms of training, additional certification along the way, years of experience. So include any certificates you'd have had along the way in your application. We also ask for two references, Sandy, right?
Yes.
2 references, and those references can be from your employer, an academic institution that you studied with. You can ask an academic to do it. It can be from a lawyer, justice of the peace, and so on. And there's actually a list online on our website as well for persons who you can, in fact, get those references from. We also ask you to submit your resume. And this again is important because we want to be able to see who you are. Sometimes you may be on the cusp of the 2.5. Sometimes you may have done a particular training which doesn't necessarily directly align, but having a look at your resume gives us an opportunity to assess your overall experience and fit for the program. So include your resumes as well.
Okay, thank you. And Anonymous is asking, it appears that this program is intended for individuals working in the public sector. Will the program be beneficial to corporate security managers by any chance?
For sure. For sure. It will be of use to anyone, whether it be you're interested in the public sector, in the private sector. There's a not-for-profit sector as well, because if you go back to, well, you may have missed it, but the courses that we offer, they cover a number of topics, a number of themes that stretch across the board. So some are not particular to public sector or private sector. So even my reference to policy, for instance, there are corporate entities that have their own security policies and so on. And so across the board, the training that you get will enable you to be dynamic in terms of your ability to operate in the public sector, private sector, not-for-profit. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so my light just went. I'm in total darkness. Let me see. I was using two devices. So let me try and see if I can pull up the other one. So good evening. I'm a mechanical engineer with a GPA of 3.28. Is this program only limited to persons within the security forces? Because I value cybersecurity.
That's the one I just responded to.
Oh, okay.
The really interesting one just beneath that from Celia Bailey. And Celia is asking Sandy, how are examinations done? And that is an excellent question, Celia. Thank you so much. I didn't address that. So the university regulations has a requirement for exams to be face-to-face. What does this mean for you? So for those who are based in Jamaica, you will be able to do your exams face-to-face at one of our exam points across the island. For those who are in the region, you are, well, the University of the West Indies has a strong network across the region. And so we'll be able to identify exam sites for you. For those who are way beyond Jamaica and even in other parts of the Caribbean, we will assist you in finding sites, examination sites that you can actually sit your exams in. So that is something that we will work with you in doing. We do recognize that there are examination sites in various countries. We have a student in another program in Korea, for instance, right? So we will assist you in identifying examination sites that you can have the face-to-face exams at, and then the papers are transported to us and we grade them and you get your grade. So thanks for that question, Celia.
Okay. Somebody asking about the payment plan again. Apart from the online modality, what were some of the other enhancements to the program, if there are any?
Okay, so the online is critical, but beyond that, we've actually updated quite a few of the courses, and new courses have been introduced, and that's critical. So even the question that Yomoy had asked earlier about cybersecurity, that's a new course that we're actually introducing. So some of the existing courses have been revised and updated, modernized, and new courses have been introduced into the program. we also have the 2 weeks face-to-face that everyone will be together, of course. So those are some of the enhancements that we have built into the program.
Can the exams be done in the United States? This is from Egon.
Yes, Egan. So we do have examination sites and partners in the US. We understand that US is a huge country. There are many other countries out there as well. And so some of your students, we may not have ever had students from some of these countries. So we do engage even universities, there are training institutions globally, colleges and so on, that allow exams to be undertaken in their context. So we, again, will work with you in identifying examination site that's close to you where you can, in fact, do your exams.
Thank you. And Anonymous is asking, with the new updates, is this program accredited locally or internationally?
So we are, as part of the University of the West Indies Network, we benefit from institutional accreditation. And so we are accredited by the University Council of Jamaica. And so our programs naturally are also accredited by virtue of that. And in some other cases, some of our other programs have additional accreditation, like the AMBER, for instance.
Okay, thank you. Josephine is asking, is full-time available online?
So we're currently reviewing the suite of courses, and it is our intention to be able to offer full-time online. We encourage you, though. We want it to be as realistic as possible, as reasonable as possible with yourselves. And so we want to encourage you not to take on a full-time designation if it's going to be challenging. We want, again, to make sure that when you join our programs that you are successful. And so full-time will involve studying 4 evenings per week. So we want you to be measured, and if it's fine and you feel you're fully able to do that, then that's fine. One of the things that we need to do, because this will be the first year that the program is being offered, is to assess the extent to which we can allow that sequencing to allow for full-time in the first year of the program. It may be that full-time will only be offered in the second year, but we're currently looking at the sequencing. Of course, the number of students that we get will also help us to determine if we can, the extent to which we can do that. But again, we encourage you to be reasonable with yourselves. If it's fine and you feel you can take it on, then by all means, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Alton is asking, will this recording be available to persons who have not joined?
It will be if you're registered. So if you're registered and you weren't able to attend, then you can get the recording. Sandy, there's someone who is saying, Drake Daly, that they are not able to, I'm not sure what the challenge they're having, but they've posted a question in the chat. I don't have any subjects. However, I've done a few training on 16 years of experience. Will I be eligible, and how many short courses do you offer around this program? So Drake, Mr. Daly, you can apply to the program. Again, be open in terms of including as much information as possible. Include your resume, include your references. Note that the courses are delivered in semesters, and there are 3 semesters that run across each year. for those 3 semesters. The semesters are roughly 13 weeks each. And I think I saw a question earlier that asked about that. Each semester is roughly 13 weeks. And so courses are offered over that period. So the short courses, Mr. Daly, was in reference to the professional services unit. If you want to take on something alongside studying for your national security and strategic studies degree. So that's a separate matter, but our courses, each course is delivered over a 13-week period. And we have 3 semesters in the year. So there's usually September to December, January to April, end of March, April, and then April into end of July. Thanks, Andy.
Okay, thank you. Ricardo is asking, oftentimes I am deployed outside of Kingston for a period of 3 months, as far as Montego Bay, Westmoreland, etc. Will I be affected in any way?
Well, Mr. Price, that's one of the reasons why we had this update in the program, because we recognize that people do go off. What it means now is that rather than missing classes, you will be able to join the classes online, and so you'll be able to catch up. Okay, so it should be okay if you can't attend some classes face to face. You can join online, and so you won't be left out or left behind. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And Anonymous again, what was the previous uptake of this program like?
So it's an interesting question, Anonymous. So I've been, well, you know what? Mrs. Broomfield, you've been in this program for quite some time. So we've had various levels of uptake in the program. It's one of our longest master's programs. And as I said, we've had different student intake along the way. I'm not sure if there's a particular response that you'd appreciate from that question, but we've had different numbers of students in the program over the years. And I spoke to the fact that this is a revised program. This is not unique to National Security and Strategic Studies. We do have a program of review. So around 3 to 5 years, we review each of our programs at the graduate level, because again, we want to ensure currency and responsiveness to our stakeholders, to the environment that we operate in, both local and international. And so we do have that process of periodic review and reform of our programs.
Okay, thank you. I'm actually not seeing any new questions. Oh, no. Sorry, Anonymous. For the benefit of the online students, could you please reassure me about the reliability of your internet infrastructure to minimize connectivity issues?
Anonymous, if I was able to reassure you, I'd probably have some special skills and talents that could see me earning some funds that I would not be working here. But it's a good question. And it's a serious question that deserves attention, right? So we are working on outfitting, for instance, or teaching facilities so that we're able to offer as much as possible unbroken connectivity and a smooth experience as possible to you or prospective students. So for instance, we are engaging some of the best in terms of training in how to engage students online, the different techniques and tools you can utilize to ensure engagement and student success. Unfortunately, some of the issues around connectivity, while we are addressing them in terms of updating our infrastructure, some of that is really outside of our control. But as far as within our control, we will do what we can to ensure that your experience is a good one. Again, we pride ourselves on our student feedback, on our student satisfaction and engagement. And so we want to make sure as much as possible that it is a good experience for you. So we will try to deliver that good experience, understanding that sometimes some of it is beyond our control. But again, we are engaging international expertise to train our faculty, and we are upgrading our infrastructure with that end in mind. So Sandy, I believe, oh, there's a final question, I think, from Miss Celia Bailey, who has been asking some really good questions so far. And the question is, are exams the same time as class time? Mrs. Broomfield, can you take that one, please?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you. We're hearing you.
Okay, so my internet just went down and it just
So and talking about connectivity, right? And this one again kind of underscore the point I was making, that we will update our infrastructure, but sometimes it's outside of our control. But in any case, the sessions will be recorded. And so peradventure you miss something, you should be able to get back to it. But there's a question here from Miss Bailey. Sandy, are exams the same time as class time?
I'm sorry, once again, my internet went.
Okay, so I'll address it. The question is,
So I didn't hear anything for the last couple of minutes.
Okay, are exams the same time as class time? So exams
No.
are not necessarily the same time as class time. So exams tend to be in the mornings. And you get sufficient notice in terms of getting an idea of when the exams will be. Do you want to provide any additional information there, Sandy? If you can hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. So classes are between 5 p.m. to 9 and 9 and 1 to 4. So
You're breaking up. You're actually breaking up. So that's not good. So Sandy, I'm going to ask you to just type that response in the chat.
It's not.
So we'll just ask Mrs. Broomfield to respond to that one in the chat. But you know, it's interesting that that question came about connectivity, right? And here we are now. But as much as possible, as I said, we have recordings and so on. And then of course there will be consultation time between students and lecturers. So if you have questions, things you want to seek clarification on, you can also reach out to your lecturers and arrange for specific times to engage your lecturers. Okay. I'm not sure. Camille? Okay, I see a few more. Okay, so there's a response that has come through. I suspect that is Mrs. Broomfield on another device. So exams are normally between 9 to 12. Again, we understand that people work, so we do give you advance notice for exams. What we found for some of our students is they tend to schedule their vacation times, or if not vacation times, they make arrangements with their employers. If you're the boss, you make arrangements with your staff for when the exam schedule is out so that you'll be available. And the class times have also been posted. Thanks. So Mrs. Broomfield has posted the class times and the exam times, which tend to be 9 to 12. and 1 to 4 p.m. Okay, a question. Heard that registration for summer semester is open. However, I am unable to do so. So we're now in the process of going through applications. So we are now doing applications for programs, and in time you will get information on registration. We're asking you to pay keen attention. If you do have already an acceptance letter in your hand, we want you to look out for communication from the Mona School of Business and Management. There will be communication from the University of the West Indies itself, which I'm encouraging you to read, to go through. But importantly, note that when you pay fees, you pay your fees to the Mona School of Business and Management, as opposed to the University of the West Indies. So be mindful of that when you receive the different communication, okay? Is there a cost for application? Ms. Morgan, do you want to take that on? Is there a cost for application?
Hi, good evening, everyone. No, our applications do not attract a fee. Your applications, any program at DOE is totally free of cost to you.
Thanks so much. So many of you may have been in contact in one way or the other with Ms. Morgan, who helps in terms of our graduate admissions. So no, we do not. I know there are many institutions that have an application fee. We do not have an application fee. Again, we encourage you to submit your application for consideration. So that's not a hurdle that you have to think about. Yes, Josephine, thank God. Okay. I am not well, there's a final question from anonymous attendee. Are there any master's courses on safety or safety management? So the suite of courses for the National Security and Strategic Studies program, it's available. I'm not sure if you mean a program. So we don't have any other program that necessarily, or am I speaking out of turn? So there are other programs that we have at the master's level. I'm not sure that there are any courses in these that speak specifically to safety management as a broad, as a specific topic. The different courses that we cover, for instance, like logistics and supply chain management, may to some extent deal with these, but I wouldn't say that there's a specific course in that, okay? All right. So I'm going to take my cue. I am not sure if Mrs. Broomfield is back. Specifically for the start of the course following admission. So the courses, the teaching would begin the first week in September. But of course, the face-to-face elements, the introduction and networking, we will begin the end of August. And we will provide more specific dates for those interactions and engagements. But teaching the very first week of August, and the interaction, the networking, the last week in August. Right, and Mrs. Broomfield has noted that the timetable has not yet been set. So, I believe we will remain online for a few more minutes to answer questions. I note that there are quite a few people here. The questions have been fantastic. They demonstrate a level of engagement and interest in our program, and I'm grateful for that. We, as a small institution, again, we work very hard in putting together our programs, making sure that they're relevant. And so even the level of questions, the level of engagement this evening, we're quite grateful for it. I want to thank you again for being here. Thank you for considering the MSBM. Please, I encourage you again, if there are any concerns, if you're unsure about anything, please nevertheless go ahead and submit your applications. And so for me, I was about to say, I'm going to hand over back to Ms. Camille Sinclair and to Mrs. Broomfield, but I gather that there are some questions in the chat. Thank you for coming, Mrs. Josephine Morant or Miss Josephine Morant. I hear that there are some questions in the chat, but we have actually been engaging some of those questions in the chat. So if there's nothing, if anyone sees any question that they believe we haven't engaged with yet that we need to answer, please feel free to raise it here. But from my end, I want to hand back over to Ms. Sinclair and Mrs. Broomfield. And I thank you again for considering the MSBM. And I really, really do look forward to welcoming you all end of August in September. Take care.
Indiana, there's one from Celia. Is it 2 weeks face-to-face mandatory? Maybe you want to address that.
I did say Celia asks very good questions, right? Celia asks excellent questions. And yes, we are asking for persons to be here face-to-face. We do understand that there may be extenuating circumstances that may affect that. So we ask you to reach out to us and talk to us about that. But as much as possible, we do want people to be together for the 2 weeks mandatory. Again, it is to ensure that you get a good introduction to the program, you meet your cohorts. You know, from time to time, the prospect of doing well is not, especially for an online program, feeling as if you're on your own, off on your own, doing your studies on your own can be daunting. We want you to be able to bond, understand that when you graduate, there's a network, a global, a local, a regional network that you can call upon. And we also want you to understand the context that you're studying in more. We want you to get to know the people who are teaching you face-to-face. We want you to get to know us as a business school and us as an institution, the University of the West Indies. So we encourage you. Yes, the 2 weeks will be critical. And you, for those of you not in Jamaica, you get to see Jamaica, which is always a good thing.
Someone was asking about, will any of the classes be held in Montego Bay?
No, we wouldn't. That's the beauty of having the online option. That now frees us up. We don't have to go all over Jamaica. So we will have the face-to-face in Kingston. And for those who are not able to join us, you'll be able to join online.
And the question is, how will you determine the GPA of a first degree awarded from the early 2000s?
Good question. So we do get your grades, right? And the grades allow us an opportunity to assess what your standing is. Even if you don't have a GPA, we ask for, you know, you may have an upper or lower. So we ask for, is it a lower second, I believe, Janice? But we are able to look at your grades. We look at whether it's a first class, second class, upper, lower, second. And again, we also look at your resume. So we look at your position, your experience. We look at the certification you'd have gotten along the way. So include all of those. We have our ways and means because this is not the first time that we've done this. So you will be fine. Submit the app.
Can I say something on that too, Dr. Mintercoy?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
That the university does have, there was a time before we moved to this new GPA system.
Oh, yes.
Yes, and so the older GPA would still be recognized. So this new system, fine for, and there's a cutoff period. I don't quite remember the cutoff period now, but perhaps yours do fall in the prior period. So we would consider your GPA that would be equivalent in that period. So not necessarily the current. All right, so there is some sort of cutoff, but it's failing all else. We, as Dr. Mintercoy says, we'll look at everything in totality in assessing your application.
Thank you. Thank you. So guys, listen, we mentioned that we're a small institution, right? Which means that we have to also rely on each other quite a bit. So even for you attending, each program has a designated program coordinator. And that program coordinator is essential. In your case, it would be your lady who came to you at the top of the program, Mrs. Sandra Broomfield. And the program coordinator is essential. She's that link, or that coordinator is a link between you and the institution. Whatever challenges you may have, reach out to your program coordinator. There are your lecturers, of course, as part of the network. But at the same time, the program coordinator is assigned to you. You reach out to them if you have any issues, you're going to be late for class, you're facing any particular issue or challenge, reach out to your program coordinator who can assist you along the way. We recognize that many will be studying and working at the same time. So we've built in these additional levels of support for you to do well in the program. Were there any others, Janice?
No, I think most were answered. There are some current students who have some questions, so I recommend that Sandra, your email address, just resend that. I mean, they should have it, but some questions seem to be coming from some current students.
Okay, I know some had come from TMI that we responded to.
Did we address this one about, is there anything geared towards firefighters?
Unfortunately, beyond the focus on security and strategic studies, no. We do not have anything specifically geared towards firefighters. But again, some of the content will be transferable, but not specific to the area.
That was from Evet Henry. So Evet, I hope that that will suffice. That person is a firefighter for 18 years. And we congratulate and recognize their service. And hopefully in the future, we may look more closely at the firefighters. Yeah.
Thanks. And if there are no more questions, I mean, we will stay on. It's now 7:26. And the police as well. Congratulations. So we'll stay on for a few more minutes and we'll continue to address any questions or comments that come in the Q&A or in the chat. I will hand over to Camille or Sandra, who will give the final thank you. Take care, everyone. Again, you know, this is a special program for us. Many of our lecturers in this program have been with us for many years. They have seen and taught some of our top professionals across Jamaica. I know Mr. Ramirez was here from Belize earlier. He's also a senior official in the Belizean security force. So we've engaged quite a few along the way in this program, locally, nationally, and regionally. internationally. So we look forward to continuing the high level of accomplishment. And we are always pleased when we see our students or graduates moving on and doing exceptionally well all over. So we encourage you, when you come to join us in September, please, when you finish in the 12 months or the 24 months, don't stay too far. We want to hear how you're doing. Some have even come back to actually join us as lecturers and adjuncts on our courses. So a long and fruitful relationship and partnership, I hope. Take care, everyone.
Hello. I'm here. Okay, I just want to say thank you to everyone, and I hope to see you all in September. Thank you.